Hi, if you found this video, you are most likely on a journey to becoming a nurse midwife or a midwife in general. My name is Nandi Brown. I am currently a certified nurse midwife in Nashville, Tennessee. I started my journey in about 2014. That's when I knew that I wanted to become a midwife. And I'm just here to give you some tips and kind of insight into becoming a midwife and what it entails when you actually get into the role. So, if you don't know yet, there are three different types of midwives in the United States of America. There's the certified midwife, there's a certified nurse midwife, and then there is the traditional midwife. The laws currently do not allow certified midwives and traditional midwives to practice in all 50 states. But certified nurse midwives can practice in all 50 states. That's definitely something to consider when you are deciding which route you want to take to get to becoming a midwife. That can, create boundaries for where you can live and how you can practice. I found out I wanted to be midwife around 2014 as I was finishing my degree in biology, pre-med, thinking I wanted to go into becoming a doctor. I later found out that, allopathic medicine just didn't align with what I wanted to do with my life. And I ended up running into the midwife that delivered my sister when I was visiting Houston at the time. And we sat on the steps of a community center and she just told me what she did and how it impacted the community and what her job entailed. And that's when the skies opened and the angels sang, and I was like, this is what I want to do. So that's when I first found out. And then as I was doing more research and getting into doula work and doula certification, that's when more statistics were coming out about the adversities that Black women face when it comes to delivering in the United States of America. And I just knew that was my final call to action. So I started on my journey. I became a doula. I became a newborn specialist, where I went into people's home, taught them newborn education, watched their babies overnight, helped the baby with sleep cycles and feeding and giving respite to those new parents. And then I continued on volunteering with a refugee organization in Atlanta that helped women that were pregnant get to their prenatal appointments and get to the hospital when it was time. And throughout that journey, I just knew this is what I wanted to do, so I didn't stop. Fast forward, I decided to go into nursing school, something that I never thought I would do, because, I decided I didn't want to go into allopathic medicine, so why would I become a nurse? But the way that I live, I knew I did not want any stipulations on my ability to move where I wanted to go. And not be able to practice in whatever city I decided to go in. So I said, you know what, certified nurse midwifery is for me. Yes, it is more hoops to jump through because you do have to become a nurse first before you can go on to your master's program to become a certified nurse midwife. But I knew at the end of the day, it would be worth it for me. So that's what I did. I attended South College, which is kind of a second chance university. I finished my program there with a 3.86, I believe. And then I went on to Bethel University to get my master's in midwifery. And I graduated with the 3.87, maybe? Something around there. So, it's a journey that definitely takes perseverance and willingness. I definitely say midwifery is something that you really have to have the heart for. If you are coming from a nursing background and you've traveled, you know what that money can look like, and the money does not look the same when you become a midwife. So to anybody that's on the journey to becoming a midwife, I say keep at it. Talk to people that are midwives. Do your research and figure out if it's really for you, because it is a taxing job, and I feel like that doesn't really matter what area you live in. You could be in the rural spaces, in the city spaces. There's always going to be pregnant people who need you. And it does take a lot to show up for patients. It's holding of space. It's being the source of information and giving your patients all of the research so that they can make an informed decision. Midwifery is also beautiful. Birth is a beautiful thing. It is a very sacred space, and you get to be there to help usher in the new generations, right? So that is a beautiful part of midwifery, and I definitely encourage anybody watching this to continue on the journey. It may be hard. I definitely went to nursing school twice. The first time around, I was in a relationship that just took a lot from me, and it had nothing to do with the person. It just was me trying to balance and juggle and do everything instead of focusing on my school. And I ended up, getting a D in a class, and that took away my accelerated program opportunity. Then I ended up at South College, like I mentioned before, and I ended up doing really well because I had the time and energy to focus into my education. It's definitely tough, but it's worth it. I would not change anything about my journey of getting here as a midwife. I absolutely love what I do. I can definitely say that there are days that I come home and I just want to close my door, turn off the lights, and I want to lay on the floor or lay on my bed because I give so much to my patients. I want them to be felt and seen and heard. So it can be emotionally taxing, right? And as you do more research on birth and labor and postpartum, you understand that birth is a volatile space. Yes, when it goes beautifully, it goes beautifully, but when it goes left, it can go very far left. So that means that when you're in school, you have to take it very seriously. You have to study, you have to stay up to date so that when you are in those rooms and people are looking at you as a provider, you know what to do, right? It's very important. I remember talking to another midwife that I grew up in the community of Houston, and she told me, if you want to become a certified nurse midwife, you have to be very detail oriented. You have to be the person that crosses their T's and dots their I's, because it's a space where you have to be up to date on everything and give very clear information and research to the patients that you're providing for. And especially for me, I work at a practice that is midwifery led, meaning that we are the providers. We do have a supervising physician that we can go to if things are, abnormal. And, with her decades of experience, she can say, I would recommend this, I wouldn't recommend that. But other than that, it's us at the front line that are seeing these patients and creating these care plans for them. And we do see a lot of high-risk patients. That's just how our practice works. And, going through school, you learn more about what high-risk pregnancies look like and what that entails. But it's just very important to stay well-educated and making sure you're doing your research and reading articles to stay up to date with the current recommendations, especially boards of American College of Gynecology and Obstetrics. That's a very important platform and organization that gives us highly recommended information. There's also ACNM, which is the American Certified Nurse Midwifery Board, that gives out great information. And then, staying in your books. Varney's is a staple within midwifery. I highly recommend keeping that on your bookshelf for reference and getting an updated copy whenever they come out with one. But overall, midwifery is a beautiful place to be. I think midwifery really is the future because midwives, we are professionals in normal physiological birth, meaning that when things are going right, we know exactly what to do. We hold space. We are there for our patients. And I truly believe every pregnant person deserves to be seen and heard, because pregnancy is a very vulnerable state. Your body is changing in ways that you may have never seen before because every pregnancy is different. And midwives have that capacity to say, you know what, I hear you. Here are recommendations, or I hear you, this is what I think you should do, let me refer you to a specialist. and create these spaces where women feel safe, you know, women feel really safe. It's a beautiful journey, as long as you really want to do it. I know people that have, you know, gotten let go out of midwifery programs and still gone back, found other programs to go to, and graduated and are doing really well. So if this is something that you want to do, keep going. If you're a Black or brown woman, I definitely encourage you to keep going, because representation matters. There are research articles that say that when there is a room with a Black or brown person and they have a representative of their same or similar background, it can change the game, because we have a certain empathy when it comes to caring for one another, that hasn't always been apparent in the history of medical sciences. So keep going, sis. If you ever have any questions or concerns, I am more than happy to answer them. I remember being on my midwifery journey and looking on YouTube, looking for videos of women that look like me, who have done the things and are, you know, willing to share any tips or tricks of getting through school and the journey of midwifery. And I am more than happy to be a resource to help usher in the newest, greatest midwives to come. So again, my name is Nandi. I'm a midwife in Nashville, Tennessee, and I support you. I'm here for you, friends, and reach out if you have any questions or concerns. I do plan on uploading more videos about my journey and about, you know, tips and tricks for school, especially if you're working full-time and trying to balance everything. So I wish you the best. I hope that all is well, and I will hope to see you soon. Bye.